Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the rise of the micro brands.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
All right, for today's show, we're going to be talking about 3PL and how it works, a couple of hacks, what you don't know or what your 3PL service doesn't tell you. And we're going to be having my partner and returning guest, Afolabi Oyerokun. And it's interesting, Afolabi is involved with the Amazon service side. Afolabi was also called on by Amazon when he was when they were starting their FBA. So kind of cool. That caught my attention when I first started talking with him, that Amazon contacted him to consult on the FBA services. So anyways, he's a very established seller and business person. Can't wait to dive into this 3PL topic we're going to be talking about, something very unique. And if you have any questions about 3PL services whatsoever, just let us know. But before we do so, where are you, Kelsey?
Hello.
Happy Monday, son.
Happy Monday to you too.
It's actually sunny today. No snow on the ground. Woo.
I know. Yeah, it's turning around here in Canada. So
you're still locked in.
I'm excited. Oh yeah, definitely. Still locked in, but I got this podcast to do, so I'm happy with that.
All right, very good. Okay, what are we supposed to do?
All right, you guys know the drill. Smash those like buttons if you're watching right now. Share to a friend. Tag your any Amazon colleagues that you think are interested. This like sourcing can be kind of difficult to kind of jump into for new sellers. So if you have any questions at all, please just throw your questions in the comment sections. Even if it's like, what is a 3PL? Some people just might not know. So we want to bring this down to basics. If you have any questions at all, just let us know. And I also want to mention that Honu is having a live event on Wednesday that Afolabi is going to be speaking live at. So I'm going to put the link in the description box, so make sure you RSVP there. And yeah, if you're watching from the YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. And I think that's about it. And we do have a prize today.
Anybody that might want to hear.
Exactly.
There you go.
Oh, yes. Well, look at that. We got Manny. Welcome, Manny. Simon, happy Monday. Q4 is coming. That's right. Daniel, sorry. Solar Plus more. I believe that's rad. DK Kim, welcome. Welcome, everyone. And Andrew's off to Israel.
Oh, very good. All right. From Brazil, from Israel, from all over. So let's sit back, relax, grab that cup of coffee, and bring on my partner, Afolabi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
Good. I mean, you assume everybody is into coffee. How come you say everybody should grab a cup of coffee?
Well, it's just an assumption, you know. You can go and have your flavored water if you want, but I'll have my coffee. Oh my gosh, this is gonna make me laugh. Anyways, sir, how are you?
I'm good.
All right, why don't we start with yeah, here too. It's beautiful. But for those of us who don't know you, can you just give us a little bit of background information of who you are and what you do?
I welcome myself back to the show. I'm Afolabi, and I've been sourcing and doing product design for 20-something years. I like to call myself a product design midwife, help you to bring your ideas to life. So I like bargaining. So I have I own Honu Worldwide together with the Beard Guy right here, and it's been really, really cool working with him. We do a lot of sourcing. We do a lot of 3PL. We do a lot of order fulfillment. Anything that you would need to make your life easy, both in product sourcing and in logistics, supply chain. That's what we do.
Well, before we get right into it, I know we've got a giveaway today, pretty cool giveaway. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what we're offering?
Yes. So today we are going to be giving out $500 worth of 3PL services. You could use it within 3 months. It could be for unloading your storage. It could be for pick and pack. It could be for anything you want to use it for inside the 3PL system that we have. It's going to be yours for free, $500 worth.
Oh, that's awesome. And if the person's already over there and has their pallets already in place, it's just going to be a $500 credit. So
exactly.
That's pretty cool. All right. So if you do want this giveaway, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, or some people say we love Kelsey, but Wheel of Kelsey. And I don't think you've seen the new Wheel of Kelsey, but anyway, the Wheel of Kelsey, if you want to tag 2 people, you'll get an extra entry. And if you know of anybody who might be interested in learning more about warehousing, storage, 3PL services, let them know and get them to tune in to the live podcast. All right. So let's get started, sir. Let's talk about the first thing that you mentioned to me that you thought would be pretty cool are a few hacks about, so you said, secrets that your 3PL provider doesn't share with you.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, let's just describe a 3PL service. So what is it? What can people expect?
All right. So in case you're here, you don't know what 3PL means. It just means third-party logistics. Third-party logistics. It just means when you send your goods from China, how your goods travel from China or wherever it's traveling from, India, Pakistan, wherever it's coming from, all the way to get into Amazon is called logistics, right? But 3PL came into popularity about maybe 2-3 years ago. Everybody started to know about it. And what it is that when you send your goods, let's say your goods you're sending it to Amazon, Amazon cannot take everything at the same time. If not, you get hit by large storage cost. So a 3PL, a third-party logistics facility or center, is to help you keep your goods on a short-term basis. And then you can drip feed it into Amazon or wherever you want to drip feed it into stores. We do have people that sell at retail stores like Walmart, Whole Foods and stuff. So the 3PL center would help you drip it to your store or to Amazon. That way you can save a lot of storage cost on Amazon and a lot of handling cost as well.
Yeah, especially with those long-term storage fees that are, constantly hitting. So have you noticed that there's been a growth, or is there a new strategy that a lot of your customers you've seen with these new IPI restrictions or the inventory restrictions that have been on Amazon for the last few months?
Yes. A lot of people are now very smart, or a lot smarter in timing when to send their goods to Amazon. Before, everybody just sends it in anyhow. But right now they're timing it very well. First, to reduce even the storage cost at 3PL. They want to make sure that as it's coming, a majority of them is probably, 1/3 to half of the inventory we receive, it's going out immediately. So they can save on the first month storage cost. And then within 2 months, almost everything is out the door. Because the 3PL center doesn't like to do long-term storage because we're not really a long-term storage facility. We like it to come and go, so that we can serve a lot of people. So a lot of people have been very smart in doing that, especially with the IPI restriction. They're timing their manufacturing and they're timing their shipping very, very well.
Okay. Kels, are you noticing that there's a bit of a delay in Afolabi's internet? Just wondering if it's just me or not.
No, I didn't really notice it. I'll
Okay,
keep an eye
all
on
right.
it, though.
So it's just me. I'm old. I hear things and see things. Hey, I hide my own Easter eggs. Okay. All right. So let's talk about some of these things that people can do to save money using a 3PL.
Good. Yeah. Can I share my screen a little bit?
Yep. You can just go down, share the screen. Now, This is going to make it a little bit difficult for those of us that are listening to a podcast. So I hope you're good with charades.
Yeah, sorry about that. I wanted to show some images because it's going to be nice when you're dealing to talk about 3PL and packaging and stuff. You really need to see images. Okay. So let's see.
Just at the bottom, you'll see share.
Okay. I think I'm going to share screen too.
Okay.
Do you see my screen now?
Nope.
Oh, come on. How do you do that? Oh, present. There we go. You see the full screen now?
Okay, are you in StreamYard? There should be a little share button at the bottom. It's
I pressed it.
You pressed it? I'm not seeing it.
So you're not seeing my screen? Oh, let me see.
All right. So, there's a bit of dead air here. So either I'm going to get up and tap dance or we got to move this thing along.
Yeah, let me see. Let me make sure that everything is good.
Okay. As we wait, just a reminder that it's he just left, but he'll be back, so don't worry. So hashtag Wheel of Kelsey to enter for $500 worth of credit and 3PL services from Honu worldwide. So you can use this over the course of 3 months. And yeah, let me see. As we wait, Andrew has a question. Do you know the storage limits for the new ASINs in the USA?
From what I've understood, I believe I just saw this on the weekend that they're going to be lifting restrictions. However, I think there are going to be there are going to be still storage issues based on the popularity of the product, just like there are now. I think we're going to be using the strategy the same way. I just saw this, I think it was on Saturday or something, and I'll get you more information on that, Andrew, but I believe the new restrictions are going to be similar to what they are right now. They say they're unlimited, but they're unlimited for products that are selling. You're still going to have your restrictions on products. So, there he is. Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay, let me share it now. It should be fine now. Okay, this one.
There we go. Yep.
Okay, so present. It's good now?
Yep, it's good now.
Awesome. So you see 12 cost saving hacks your 3PL may never tell you?
Right. And we're going to have to describe them for people out in the podcast world. So let's move it.
All right.
Sir.
Oh, all right. The goal of this podcast is to help you save money on your landed cost of goods and to reduce your 3PL bill and also to check in your goods faster. And you'll see why when I start to share all this. Number one is to send...
Hold it. Just a sec, Afolabi. I got a question because this is relevant to what you're going to be talking about. So I don't know if you heard anything more about this, but the restriction limitations are coming off, which could affect 3PL. Do you have anything to add to that, or have you heard anything over the last few days?
Well, I know they're changing it to ASIN specific. I mean, so to me, it's still a storage play. Yeah. You're still going to be paying a lot of storage. 3PL storage cost is about less than 30% of what Amazon charges.
Right.
So there's still a huge savings in your storage cost and also reaction to market. Like what happened last year about, with goods stuck in China, many people's goods were stuck in China and they couldn't react fast enough. So it's still better to have something closer on US soil, right, than to keep it in China waiting for it to move. Especially now on the West Coast, we have a lot of delays. So you can imagine sending your goods and it's there 6 weeks. It's still not checked into FBA. So you could easily do FBM while you're waiting for some of your goods to go into FBA, but you cannot do FBM from China. It's going to take so long. So I would still say 3PLs are still going to be needed. It's just Amazon can pull the plug anytime. It's still a storage play.
Right, absolutely, but it's a lot less expensive. So, just I wanted to go back even further on an inventory play. So, one of the things that a warehouse is good for, fulfillment center, is that you get to store your goods. It's less expensive than having it on Amazon for slow moving inventory. If your inventory is moving fast, great, have it at Amazon. But what I find is that you have your trigger. I Chelsea Cohen, I was talking to her, and her software is so stocked. It's got those triggers that you could put in. Whether you once you run out in Amazon, it triggers the inventory at the warehouse, and then, if possible, and I still think this is the best play, you have storage, or you have your manufacturer make double the inventory and have it over in China, and you pay just anywhere from 10, 20, 30% down. And then once the inventory from your warehouse has to move, then that can come right in. There's no time to wait for manufacturing. So that's still the best play for me. And if anybody's confused on that, we've talked about it in a few podcasts. We could probably lay that out in a very short SOP. But anyways, let's get into that now. I just wanted to talk about that because it is fairly fresh news.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Well, so the first one is when you're sending your products to your 3PL, make sure you send it on pallets. Because you see, products, when we receive products, or when any 3PL sender receives your product, they can receive by pallet or they can receive by box. If they receive by box, you're paying per box received. It could be anywhere from $1.50 to $3. I've seen some 3PLs charge as much as $3.50 just to receive your box. And you can imagine putting 24 boxes on a pallet and you send in pallets, and it's just $5 to receive a pallet.
Okay, so just to give somebody an idea of the cost savings, let's say that you have to take, what does it cost, the typical, like just ballpark, take off a pallet compared to what it would cost to stack a pallet?
So when products arrive on pallets, a 3PL may actually never break down that pallet if it's well arranged on the pallet. They will just charge you a receiving cost of $5, some up to $10. Even if it's $10, that is significant, as opposed to them charging you on a box by box basis, because your products arrived loose in boxes. And let's say they even charge you $2 a box. $2, you could have put 24 boxes on a pallet and pay $5 to receive the whole pallet, or you could pay $2 for each box, and that will almost be $64, $70 just to receive a pallet worth of boxes, of loose boxes. So it would, anytime a 3PL touches your box, anytime the employees touch your box, it's money, because time is money, labor is money. So the more boxes they have to touch and palletize and put together, because your box arrived all loose and all, everything was on the floor when UPS or your trucker brings it. All these are all the things that increases labor charges. But if they're all on pallets and they're all nicely wrapped, it's one inbound fee just to bring it out of the truck onto the floor of the 3PL.
Olga, I just saw that there was, there it is. Don't forget the pallets also cost money.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So what would that cost be?
A pallet costs about $15 just for that wooden pallet. So even if you add the cost of the wooden pallet, on the China side, remember you're buying pallets on the China side. Let's say you buy, $20, even if they charge you $20 on the pallet, but you put 24 to 36 boxes on that pallet. You wrap it really nicely and you ship it here. When your 3PL center receives it, they're going to charge you one inbound fee for that pallet, offloading it from the truck. Whereas if it was not on pallet, you have to multiply the number of loose boxes by $2. So that puts you in almost $100 just to
And you
receive.
still have to pay for the pallet anyways.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then we have to grab your boxes and then put it on a pallet and build it the way you should have built it. And that is also $1 to $2 just for doing that per box.
Right. Okay. Yep. That's a great point. You know, just how the first tip, you know, how you can save some money.
Yep. That savings alone is huge. It's huge.
Especially if it's a full container.
Yes. Many people complain that they get stung by the 3PL. It's because you need to understand that labor handling is money. That's why 3PLs charge anytime they handle your goods. So the best way is to prevent or to reduce the amount of handling they will have to do on your products.
So even if you're setting it up, and I'm the box, okay? If your supplier is sending you 5 or 6 pieces in a box, and you can get that up to 8 or 10 or 12 pieces in a box, that's also going to save you a lot of money because you have 12 pieces and you open, the cost of opening each box is a cost. So if you can save 10 boxes or 5 boxes per pallet on the opening charge, you're going to save a couple bucks there per box, correct?
Yes. I mean, just be careful that your box doesn't exceed Amazon's, standard box size of 25. Right. As long as your box, the longest part of your box stay within that 25 inches max, then you'll be fine.
Okay, good.
You'll be fine. Yep. All right. I have an image, nice pallet, fully wrapped, beautiful. Once your pallet arrives like this, you're saving a lot of money. You're saving a lot of money. You're going to save a lot if your pallets arrive like this, okay? To any 3PL center, it's good, okay? So
what's the typical size of a pallet?
40 by 48.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the standard. And that, that will be my point number 12 or something down the line. You'll see how you should not send on an irregular pallet. Please stick to the standard pallet, because if you send it on an irregular pallet size, we will have to break it down, strip all the film from it, and repalletize it. And that's cost you money to do. Right. So use your standard pallet from the very beginning so that we don't have to change your pallet to a standard pallet. Okay. All right. Number 2, try to put one SKU on each pallet if possible. If possible. If possible. Why? Because, it helps us to count your products when they arrive. It helps us to count them faster. If your pallets arrive and there are like 20 SKUs on it, in order for your 3PL to count it accurately, they have to break the pallet, strip it open, take the boxes off the pallets, one by one, count, sort it out, and then put it back on separate pallets. Because when you call for your products to be sent out to Amazon, it's faster if all your products if a SKU is on a pallet. It's a lot faster. We just go there, grab it, send it out. But if there's all mumbo jumbo together, it's going to take a lot of handling to break down your pallets and count it and sort it and then repalletize it and then put it back on the rack.
And the chances are you're going to make a mistake and you're going to send something that Amazon doesn't want, then you're going to get those nasty emails, that there's a shipping problem or it doesn't match a shipping plan. I've had this. I've ordered a bunch of different soaps. The soaps all arrived, and then my at the time the person who was running the warehouse was freaking out because not only was there so many different scents in the pallets, but they mixed the boxes. So if you could put 24 units in, there could even be multiple different scents in each box. And they went crazy, and I got charged through the nose for it too. So yeah, I feel your pain.
Yep, it's just a nightmare. It's not because the 3PL seller wants to charge you excessively. It's just that it's a lot of work,
Right?
to break down all those things and then try to sort. We don't know your product. You know your product. So the less you pack on a pallet, the better of each of your SKUs. It just helps us count really fast. We don't even need to break it in many cases. Just look at your pallet. We'll count it, and it's easy. Okay. All right.
Very good.
Number 3, wrap your pallets securely. I know a lot of shippers, especially from China, they like to use very flimsy wrapping films, and they try to save cost by not using enough film to wrap those pallets. Guess what happens? There you go.
Oh yeah.
See?
So if you're on a podcast, we've got a pallet that's extremely well wrapped, and then we've got one that's kind of leaning over and falling over in the container.
Mm-hmm. They all fall over in the container. Guess what? It takes a lot of time to get into this container. Remember, the trucker that brings your container is charging by the hour.
Mm-hmm.
Every hour it waits, it's almost $125 an hour. So if unloading your truck is supposed to take us 2 hours and now it's taking us 5 hours, guess what? You're paying an extra $375 just to unload that container. Just because your pallets were not wrapped. Somebody was trying to skimp and save $2 on wrapping your pallets really tight to prevent it from falling. And then there's going to be product damages. Not only are we spending much time unloading, some of your products will be damaged.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think this is a good time. Let's stop for a sec. Remember, I just wanted to give everybody the giveaway for the day. Afolabi is going to be giving away $500 worth of 3PL services. Just hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, and then you'll get a second entry. If you like what you're hearing, please like us, follow us on social media. And Afolabi, I mean,
Yes.
This is a really great topic because a lot of the times, if I'm in a mastermind or if we're just talking to the group, people will ask about those questions, or they'll feel that they're getting nickel and dimed by their fulfillment center. And there are a lot of, it's not hidden costs, but these are costs on rate sheets that I think people need to understand. And this is how a warehouse survives. They're there to make business, to create business, to stay in business. But there's so many things that you can do to save money. Just like we talked about the sourcing hacks, the 12 different sourcing hacks. Same thing here. If you can make sure that your supplier is wrapping it for pennies more, that it's stacked properly when it leaves, that these are all things that you could do to actually save money in the long run. The fulfillment center doesn't want, well, it depends on the fulfillment center, I guess, but fulfillment centers typically are not trying to gouge you, but they have to pay their employees. And
Exactly.
if the employees are sitting there, unloading for 5 hours, like you said, instead of 2 hours, that time's got to be made up somewhere. And that's
Exactly.
unfortunately going to come out of the seller's pocket, unless you've got some sort of agreement where it covers everything, that you're paying a flat fee per month.
Yep.
So Kels, let's talk about, I know I saw a couple, I can't even read with these bloody glasses, but what are some of the questions that came up?
Okay, first from Simon, there seems to be many different costs when using a 3PL: storage, picking, packing, labeling. It makes it really complex. Is there any easy way to calculate total cost before starting?
Well, to calculate will bring us back to all the things that we've been talking about. It's so hard to calculate a 3PL cost because so many unforeseen issues arrive, and those are exactly what we're talking about today. For example, you can calculate your cost of 3PL and say, okay, it's going to cost $500 to unload a full container. It's going to cost me $20 per pallet per month to store my goods. And then it's going to cost me $2 per box to send it out of Amazon. And it's going to cost me $6 per master carton to ship it to Amazon's fulfillment center. Those are the basic standard calculatable rates. But there are some variable rates in the warehouse that the warehouse wasn't even expecting until they received your boxes. Those are the killers. Those are the rates you should try to avoid. And that's why we put this podcast together. Those hidden, stinger rates that could arise just because of the condition of your boxes. But other than that, a 3PL rate should be easy to calculate. And in the future, Norm, I think once we should talk about true landed cost, whereby we will break down all the 3PL costs and how you can factor it into your product cost. They should be very simple. The only reason is that most of these boxes, or your shipper or whoever sending the goods, they don't. So many things can happen on the way to receiving, and Amazon actually also charges for all this. They just hide it.
Right.
They just hide it really nicely. Unless you dig through your seller central, you're going to see all these charges there. But for a 3PL, it should be simple, unless your products arrive in an unexpected shape or form.
And you brought up a good point. So next podcast or a podcast down the road, let's bring up, just break down each charge that could possibly happen.
Yes.
And, and that goes right from the invoicing all the way down from your freight forwarder all the way down. So we get everything captured. What we could do is, Kelsey, if you could maybe attach the rate card just to show people what the rate card is in our show notes. That would be great. And you know what, Afolabi?
Yes,
There's
sir.
one thing, we've talked about this, but this is something that is another huge cost saver, and that's configuring. Now, you can't do this, but you can do it, but you can't do it physically, is configuring the container prior to bringing it or loading it, prior to unloading it. So shipping from China to, to your door. And if you configure, just changing the way things are laid out can save you 10, 20, 30, 40%.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yep. And you're going to see soon, it's probably on slide number 8 or 9, exactly what you just talked about.
Oh, sorry. Stole your thunder. Sorry.
No, that's fine. When I get to that point, we stop and explain more and take questions. But
perfect.
Configuration is big. It's a big deal. And we'll show you how to do it.
All right. Next slide.
Oh, there's no more question?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's just me. Again, I hide my own Easter eggs.
We are getting a lot of questions. I think we have about 8.
Kels.
So are you okay? All right, we'll dive right in. From Gideon, where does your warehouse located in the U.S.?
Pennsylvania.
Okay. Fatiha, by using a U.S. 3PL, we are paying U.S. employee rates. When added up, doesn't this even up when we are trying to save?
So we're paying U.S. employee rate. Good.
That's built into the cost, though.
It's built into the cost, but the location of your 3PL would determine the rate as well. So I tend to see a lot of higher rates on the West Coast because there is higher employment. There's higher cost of living over there. So in California, I think I've seen as much as $40 a pallet in storage. because real estate is more expensive, warehousing is more expensive, the labor cost is more expensive. But I think on the East Coast, I think it's a little lower. Like, we have $15 a pallet for standard pallet, and California has $30 to $40, or on the low end, maybe $25. So I think the location of your 3PL also determines the labor rate as well.
Right.
Okay. Are there any rules, restrictions for palletizing, sizes, number of cartons, labeling, shape, etc.?
Oh, I'm getting there.
Okay, we'll save that.
I'll show you in the next slide.
Okay. From Simon, is there a minimum price point, margin, quantity of sales to make 3PLs cost effective?
I believe you just have to know your cost of storage on Amazon. And if you want to do multiple channel, like selling on Walmart, Shopify, all those places, you do need a 3PL. And but let's use Amazon, for example. Take a look at your cubic feet storage on Amazon and compare it to your cubic feet storage on a 3PL. No matter how small you are, I mean, we have people that are only storing one pallet, and they still tell me they like it. They have a lot of savings with that, as opposed to, especially when you're launching a brand new product. Amazon may not let you send more than 200 pieces. And if your 200 pieces sells out within a week, then what are you going to do? Then you have to airlift your shipping from China, which is crazy expensive. So you can send some to your 3PL to keep for you until you're ready. As you're scaling, they can always do more. And when you get to a point, you might just send your goods from China direct to Amazon, which is perfect as well. But I think you just have to look at your business and your flow and punch in the numbers. I'm in the midst of developing a calculator, so that people can just punch in their, master carton dimensions and weight, and it will spit out what kind of rates you're looking at. I'm almost done. I'm already building that kind of calculator to help people know what their true landed cost would be.
Okay. From Victor, bringing our containers into Los Angeles has been a continuing nightmare. What is the best alternative port for shipments from China?
I wish I have a better news about California. A lot of people have been experiencing, severe delays on the West Coast side. I think one of the things I learned from somebody from one of the brands here was what she did. She went and looked at where all of our buyers were coming from. And she saw that 45% of his buyers were on the East Coast. So she's like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. So she sent that container to the East Coast, and lo and behold, Amazon is making us send all our goods to AVP1, which is like 45 minutes away from here, and she's saving a lot. And there has been no time Amazon would tell her to send it to the West Coast again, because she kind of aligned with Amazon's, last mile delivery. She kind of keyed into it because she knew the demography and the geographic locations of where our buyers were coming from on Amazon. So she's like, East Coast was better for her because of that. So I wish I have a better news about Amazon, or when things will be on the West Coast, when things will be better. I don't know, honestly. I don't know.
But it's that not a huge delay to go over to the East Coast. So it might be, I don't know.
About 10 days more in voyage. Yeah.
So it's better than that delay. Plus, you know that you're going to get it into the warehouse, or there's a less of a delay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when we receive goods here from New York port, trucks bring it here within a day or two. And then when we send it out to Amazon, it gets there in less than a week, and it gets checked in less than a week.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
So I know we have lots of slides to go through. So do you want to tackle some of those
Okay,
Go
you want us
ahead,
to
you
go on
want-
slides
Let's
and then
take
we
a
do
look. One more question, and then we can move on.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see. This is from Oleg. How do you choose 3PL locations if Amazon changes their warehouses?
If Amazon changes their warehouses, I don't understand. I would say 3P. I would say people that were changing their 3PL. I think the reason why they were changing is one, the cost of the 3PL might be too high for them. Two, it might be taking too long for Amazon to check their goods in that area they're sending their goods to. And then three, they don't mind. The people buying their products are from the maybe East Coast or Midwest or whatever, and they don't mind the extra 10 days or more longer before the ship arrives at the port in Midwest or East Coast. They don't mind. So rarely does Amazon change their fulfillment center on you. I rarely see it unless you're launching a new variation in your product. When they tell you to send it to AVP1, in most cases, let me take that back. Sometimes when Amazon opens another fulfillment center not far away from the regular place you send it to, they may tell you to send it to that new fulfillment center not so far away because your current fulfillment center is probably filled up, and they're trying to just offset it by another extension of their fulfillment center, or they notice that the algorithm is picking up that the last mile of delivery of your product is maybe not Carolina or shifting. When it's shifting, then they start to move your goods to another fulfillment center.
Right. I saw something about Victor's comment about 200 units is now gone. Yes, it is gone. However, it's on an ASIN by ASIN basis. That's what I've read into the email that I've received. So we talked about it at the very beginning of the podcast. We're going to see how that rolls out, but it looks like you're right, Victor. They're rolling out this removal of the 200 unit restriction, and it's going to be based on product by product. This is all that Amazon wants. They want to store products that are moving. They don't want to be a fulfillment center. Right?
Exactly.
Like for just a storage center for old inventory not moving.
Correct. That's very correct. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next slide.
Awesome. Number 4, your pallet height should not exceed 72 inches. Boxes may fall off and goods get damaged before arriving at your 3PL. So it's better to put heavier boxes on the bottom and lightweight boxes on top. Less handling means more savings for you. Let's look at that. Look at that tall pallet right there.
Yeah.
You see, you're trying to save money by ganging up your pallet and making it so tall, but you forget that. Well, if you want to do that, please don't go past 72 inches high and put the heavier boxes on the bottom. You can see how the heavier boxes were crushing the ones on the bottom here, and because when containers are being loaded onto a ship, they move, and even on the water, they move a lot. So as they're moving, if your pallet is too high, it's too tall, and it's not even wrapped very well, and the heavier boxes on top, they will shift. And when they shift, they're going to crush all the boxes on the bottom. So your products arrive here, half of them damaged. And, there's really nothing to do about that because we cannot send it. We will take a photo. I mean, I think many 3PLs will take photos and send it to you, the condition they got your product. But for you to avoid all this time and money wastage, it's better to just do it the right way at the first time, right from the very beginning. If you can even request for your shipper to send you photos of how they've packed your goods. It's a nice thing. I request for it, many times for them to send us photos, so that if I spot anything irregular or dangerous or not good, I would be able to say, please help me, repack that really quick.
Yeah, and some 3PLs, they even have a maximum height of 4 feet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's good. It's because we would, they'll be able to get to your goods faster. They'll be able to sort it faster. You'll be able to arrange. You're going to save in pallet build cost, even if you try to keep your products, your pallet height, below, I would say between 40 and 48 inches. It's not for the 3PL to gouge you for money. It's just that, for example, in some township where these warehouses are, they might not even allow tall pallets in those townships. Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Number 5, put your product description and SKU information on at least 2 sides of the box. All right. This helps us count your goods faster and check them into inventory in record time. It will also speed up the process of sending your goods to Amazon FBA. All right, I want to spend a little bit more time on this one. Sure. So when you're sending your goods and your boxes, I've received boxes that don't even have any inscription on them. That's wrong. It has to have made in Malaysia, made in China. It would be nice for it to have your SKU information, or at least if you're selling 3 variants, you can say blue. Please write blue on that box. If one of them is white, write white on it. If it's gray, write gray on it. Or you can at least put a dot, a blue dot, a yellow dot, a white dot, for us to distinguish which box is containing what product. If you don't do that, you know what happens? We have to open your pallet, break it down, take all the boxes. Every time we touch a box, it's money, right? You're losing money every time your 3PL touches your box. If they have to touch your box, you're losing money. So they'll take the boxes down, help you sort out, okay, which one is white now? They have to open each box to help you know which one is white, and then they'll start writing white on the box or blue on the box, and then they have to close it back, and they have to put it back on the pallet, and they have to strap it and take it to the shelf. Do you know how much you just lost by them doing that? I guarantee you at least $2 to $3 per master carton just went down the drains for them doing that. So it's good. Please write your product description and SKU on at least 2 sides. Why 2 sides? So that when we're looking at your palette, we can already tell what's on it. We don't have to break it down to count it. We don't have to break it down to sort it. We just look at it and we know exactly what's on it. And we tell you, hey, Victor, your product arrived. We received 25 boxes. It's all checked in. It's ready to send to Amazon. But if they arrive all no inscription, nothing, it's going to take hours just to sort this thing out. And guess what? If you're running a very low margin product, you just lost a ton of your money right there. Okay? I think I have a photo. Oh, here's my photo. See all the inscriptions nicely? At least we can see it. We can see it. We can see the barcode. We can see the product name and everything. Just from looking at your product on the pallet, we could see it. So easy. We don't need to break down the pallet. We see it right there. Okay? Saves a ton of money by doing that. All right. Number 6.
Hold it. I just got a comment about that too.
Okay.
And make sure that they're upright. We receive shipments sometimes that are upside down, sideways. So it's always good to have it upright. But I just saw something about Fatia saying, all these something about extra charges are getting her a little nervous, and it all comes down to communicating with your supplier, freight forwarder. Before, and even if you have the 3PL, to talk to the 3PL before it ships to give you some advice, just to make sure that it does come in. Because if you don't have that information, they're not mind readers. So it just takes time. And all these little things that, Fatia, you don't have to worry as long as it's packaged properly.
No worries, Fatia. We'll guide you. Okay. Awesome. All right. Number 6, tell your supplier or shipper to use cargo nets to secure your loose boxes inside the container. It takes a lot longer to unload your boxes when they arrive mingled up at your 3PL facility. This helps avoid product damages and injuries to your 3PL employees. Can you imagine? Remember I said when your containers, when they're unloading the container onto the ship, so there's this big crane, it grabs the container and it puts it on the ship, right? And there's waves from China all the way to the US. This ship goes through a lot of rough waters. The container is moving, all the goods inside are moving, and then they arrive at your 3PL facility, loose boxes. You know what they look like when they arrive? I'll show you now. There we go.
Ah, okay.
So,
okay.
This is what they look like when they arrive. But look, these ones have nets. That's the cargo net your supplier should put at the end of your container to prevent damages to your boxes, because they must have moved, right? Let them use this net. The net cost, who knows, $50 or less just to put the net, and they will protect your valuables. You could save thousands of dollars in damages if this nets were put on the container. They will catch the boxes so that the boxes wouldn't fall on employees when they're unloading, or your products wouldn't fall off from the truck when the truck is backing up to the dock. See, when the truck arrives at the 3PL center, they have to open the container and then it backs up. As it's backing up, the doors have to be opened when it's backing up, right? While as it's backing up, boxes are falling off right, left, and center on the floor, dropping on the floor. And you see dents and damages. So sometimes you send these boxes. Number one, some 3PLs may not send you photos of the condition of your box. They should send you photos. It's nice for them to send you. If something is broken or something is dented, when they receive your boxes, they should snap a photo and just send us, hey, look, we got your boxes. 3 of them have all this, they bust on the side. We opened it up. This is the photo. We don't think anything damaged. We don't think there's any defect. Or if there are defects, they'll take it out and say, okay, we found 3 defects in the box. This is what happened. Tell your supplier to do better next time, or whoever loaded the ship or whatever to do better next time.
All right.
Okay? All right. Let's go to the next slide. Number 7, when sending multiple loose boxes, make sure you number each box legibly. All right. So some people, it's better, if you're sending 50 boxes, you could easily write 1 of 50, 2 of 50, 3 of 50, so that if there are boxes missing, we could easily track it for you. I see a lot of people send UPS or FedEx or by high-speed vessels. Once that happens, please write numbers on your boxes, because if we only receive 48 out of 50, we might be able to track which number is missing. Okay, it helps a lot. All right, number 8, use pallet corner protectors when sending fragile items. So if your products are heavy, or it has glass or ceramic, or you feel that it's breakable, I would advise you use corner protectors, and I'll show you what it looks like. See this white thing? That's your corner protector right there. So you put it on the edge of all the 4 corners of your pallet before wrapping, because you have to wrap it together with the pallet. Okay, that way all your corners are protected and nothing flies off the pallets when they're unloading or offloading it. Okay. If something falls off your pallet, guess what? Product damages, loss of money. 3PLs will have to handle it, do a cleanup, do an audit, do all those things. All those things add up charges. Okay. Handling means money. Number 9, use good and strong pallets. Pallet must be 40 by 48 inches. If you use a non-standard pallet, we will have to break it down and charge you $15 for a US pallet. I've seen 3PLs charge as much as $20, $25 for a wooden pallet. Okay, so let's say the price is between $15 and $25 for a wooden pallet. If your products don't come with the ideal size, and Amazon will penalize you. If we send your goods on a pallet just like you sent it to us, we will just send it out. We don't do it, but if we do, Amazon will knock on your door and say, we received the pallet, it was 40 by 40. We couldn't put it on our rack, so we are charging you $70. They do it. Unfortunately, they do it. So don't fall into their trap. Make sure you use good and strong pallets. Don't use pallets that are already broken or pallets that are, I do know people use recycled pallets. If you must use a recycled pallet, please make sure it's very strong and it can withstand a lot of weight. Okay. All right. Number 10, we're almost done. Load your containers by SKU types. That was what Norm was talking about, configuration. That's it, configuration. What this means is when they're loading your containers, let's say you have 10 SKUs you're sending to your 3PL. When they're loading your containers, make sure they load SKU number 1 first, and then SKU number 2, and then SKU number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't let them load SKU number 1 and half of SKU number 1 and then half of SKU number 2 and then a quarter of SKU number 3 and then 3 boxes of SKU number 4. It's going to cause a lot of delays when sorting your goods. Because when we're offloading your container, so we spread out pallets on the floor and we're offloading and then we're sorting it out. If we load the same SKUs first, oh my God, it's so easy. We unload first, the same SKU first, and then we put them on the pallets, and those pallets are ready to be counted and wrapped and taken to the shelves. But if your SKUs are all mixed up, it's going to take us a long time to sort them out and to count them and to put them into your inventory. So please, when your shipper or your supplier is loading your container and you have multiple SKUs, tell them to load the same SKUs first together. Keep them together as much as possible. Okay.
And we're pretty much at the top of the hour, but we're going to run long today. So we're going to, if you do have any questions, just throw them over in the comment section and we will get to them. Or at very worst, if we can't get to them, we'll be answering them in the Facebook group.
All right, we're almost done. There's just 2 more so that we can take questions. I know people will have questions, so we'll just run through the last 2 and then we take questions. Number 11, use legible letters and symbols on your master cartons to differentiate your SKUs. I think I mentioned this already, whereby we want to know your SKUs. Immediately we look at your box, we want to be able to see and tell this is cell phone case, blue or flowery. We want to see it written on the box. It's easier. We will count it real quick and we'll get your product moving real fast. Okay. 12, last one. Send extra packaging with your shipments. I have a ton of products here that Amazon either returned, they are in perfect, pristine condition, but no packaging. Because
that's a really good point.
Yeah, customer received it in Amazon. He doesn't want it, but he already ripped the packaging. And Amazon, you know what Amazon does? It tags it as unsellable. Once they tag it as unsellable, they dispose of it. They say, oh, we have some 12 unsellable units. Do you want to dispose it? Say no. No. have it sent to your 3PL. If you have extra packaging with your shipment, they will help you put it into your new extra packaging and send it back to Amazon, because those things
or eBay or wherever you want to sell it from.
sell it all.
That's a very inexpensive way of getting it returned, and then instead of having it disposed, or it's unsellable, like you said, you just have to throw it into a package. That's fantastic. I love that point.
Yeah, and you know something? One more thing now. You know what happens? When Amazon deems your product unfulfillable or unsellable because of the fault of their customer, they refund you.
Really?
Yes, you can file for reimbursement and still have them send it to you to repackage and sell somewhere else.
So if you're listening and you're, those are two things right there that are fantastic.
Yes.
That's why you're my partner.
So please, extra packaging. Tell your supplier to put in extra packaging with your shipment. Anything we need to rewrap and repackage your shipment for you once you receive damaged. If you know it's not damaged good from Amazon, just tell them to send it to your 3PL. Your 3PL will repack it for you, put it back in nice, brand new shape, and you can sell it again.
And you get it reimbursed.
Get reimbursed for it and still sell it in other channels. All right.
You're done. Now we got a bunch of questions. And once again, if you're looking for that $500 credit for the 3PL services, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. We'll be probably getting to that in about 10 minutes. But let's get into the questions, Kels.
Okay, here we go. From Andrew, does Honu have shipping channels to Australia and any experience shipping to the land down under?
We haven't shipped to Australia before, but we could connect you with companies that can help you ship it. We can pass your information to them and they'll help you ship to Australia. Is it from China to Australia or from?
I would think so.
Okay, it's from China. Okay, so yeah, we can link you up with a company that will help you out, Andrew.
Okay, this is from Leonard. This is more of a comment, but he says it's curious to see what the best ways to optimize our pallets when sending them from our 3PL to Amazon as a replenishment shipment. My 3PL does not know how to do that.
Well, you might have to guide them. Unfortunately, I do notice that a 3PL that is being run by an Amazon seller is completely different from the one that is not being run by an Amazon seller, because they might not know how to take care of your shipment. They might not know even where to spot problems, but you might have to guide them, unfortunately. So let me just go through it real quick. So when you're sending pallets you can either send pallets or boxes to Amazon FBA, all right? If you're sending boxes, they only need to print one label to go on the boxes to send to Amazon. But if you're sending in pallets, they have to put box labels on the boxes, wrap it, and then put pallet label on each side of the pallet. Okay, so you can maybe direct message or something. I'll be willing to guide you, okay, or to guide your 3PL and helping them to help you put your pallets together.
Okay.
Okay, great. And Fatia had a question about the free giveaway if you are already a client, but it's a credit, I believe, right? If you're already a client, yeah. Okay,
yes,
so
Fatia. Yes.
Okay, this is from Oleg. Which issuance should we ask from a 3PL?
Issuance? What's that?
Insurance.
Insurance.
Oh, insurance. Okay, sorry.
It would be nice to have a minimum of $1 million, but ideal is $5 million. It would be nice to have a minimum of $1 million coverage liability.
Right, and that's property.
Property and yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, from Victor,
Now,
under what
also,
circumstance?
so let's go back to that for a second. So, for when you're talking to an insurance company, you want to make sure that they have the liability, that they have the property, and probably even a workman comp, just in case those boxes fall over, So, anyways, those are probably three that I can think of right off the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like Afolabi said, a bare minimum of $1 million.
And it's not expensive. It's not overly expensive to have $1 million or $5 million in coverage. It's not expensive for a 3PL. If they're running thousands of square footage, it's not an expensive thing. They should be able to afford it.
Okay. So from Victor, under what circumstances is dunnage required in the container?
Dunnage. I have to Google that real quick. Hold on.
I think it's like loose things to keep up the shipping.
Oh, the dunnage bags, you mean? So when two pallets, so when you're loading a container, you put two pallets together on one side, and when you're loading the next two pallets, you put it on this side, and then when you're loading the next two pallets, you put it on this side. Usually, that's how it's done. But if your supplier wants to use a bag, then they put one pallet like this, one pallet like this, and they put a bag, what you call the dunnage bag. Sorry, I didn't know that was what you meant. They put a bag in the middle of those two pallets to keep them from bumping into each other.
So what Victor was saying is, under what circumstances do you need this?
When your pallets are tall or when they're stacked together. So when you have two pallets stacked on top of each other, two pallets stacked on top of each other, you should have the bag in the middle.
Or fragile, right?
Yes. Or if your pallets are very tall, if they're almost as tall as the container height, then please, you could have the bags in the middle.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. From Simon, how do you control the smart stacking of pallets before entering the 3PL warehouse?
How do you control smart stacking? Smart stacking, I don't know what you mean by smart stacking, but if you must stack your pallets in the container, I like Victor's idea to put a bag in between or pack them really tight so that the top pallets wouldn't fall under other pallets. Because if that happens, we have to manually break down the pallets or drag them out. And it takes a long time to do that. So I would say use the dunnage bag that Victor had suggested, and then put your cargo net to secure the pallets into the container to keep them from sliding all over. That's how I would say you will control them. The bags and the net.
Okay, and let me see. We had some comments about the 3PL and using pallets, but it was kind of way up there. Okay, let me see. I think I found it. Okay. Hey, Norm, the problem with holding extra stock in China right now is the lack of warehouse space due to low shipping capacity and no empty containers in China.
True. Very true.
Yeah, that absolutely can happen with what's happening right now, the shortage of containers. But talk to your manufacturer and see if the manufacturer will be able to hold anything for you. If you can't, it's unfortunate because of the situation right now.
Okay, and I think this is our last one from Victor. So I guess about the pallets, the trade-off is hugely reduced capacity of palletizing versus dense packing your containers.
Yes.
It could be a difference of 30% in container capacity,
Right.
and then you also need to source the export pallets in China, which is a complication. Do you disagree?
I agree, Victor. And it's good that we mentioned that point. When you're palletizing inside a container, you're losing about 30, sometimes 40% of your space. even though it's easy for your 3PL to offload your containers faster, but I'm not against putting loose boxes into the container as long as they're well secure. If you can secure them with nets, or bags, whatever you can use to secure them very well, I am 100% for not having to use a pallet. Just make sure they're well secure, because you're going to save a lot. You're going to fill up your whole container with your boxes, which is good. You're saving a lot, especially with the shipping cost is very high now. So just make sure they're all secure very, very well in that container. Yeah, go ahead and do. Well, another thing is it takes a lot longer to offload your container if there are loose boxes. So let's say it's $375 to unload a container. If it's palletized, it's probably $200 or $300 more to unload if they're loose boxes.
All right, we had a couple come in from Leonard. I'm talking in terms of optimizing how the pallets are stacked. How many master cartons are on it, and how high are they? I can't find any software or anything that helps with this. On pallet does not show the dimensions of the stack.
Okay, all right, good. Now I understand what you're saying. Well, when you're building your pallets to be put inside your container, I'll divide that question into two. Let me divide it into loading your container and then sending off to Amazon. Those are two different things. When you're loading your container coming to the US, you could stack your pallet as high as you want. Just make sure you're wrapping them really tightly and you're packing them really tight. There's no height minimum. I mean, there's no height. Well, maybe I like 72. But if you want to go high, if your products are very lightweight, you can go higher. But make sure all your pallets are tight, very tight inside the container, right? But when you're shipping to Amazon, you can only go 72 inches high. You cannot go more than that, unfortunately. Amazon would penalize you. They'll make you pay a fine if you go over that 72 thing. So how many master cartons are on it and how high are they? However, as many master cartons you can fit on that container, 40 by 48 and 72 high when sending to Amazon. As many as you can fit on that pallet, when stacking it into a container to come to the US, you can go as high as you want. Just make sure they're very tight. But my advice is still, if you can avoid going past 72 inches, avoid it. Unless your master cartons are very lightweight, then you can go as high as you want. That's fine.
For Manny, what if the shipping box is the same box that your product is in and you want to keep it? Is this okay with Amazon?
I believe so, yes. We have a lot of companies that especially when you're sending, when you have oversized packages, Amazon doesn't have any problem with that.
Okay. From RDA, I use a 3PL in San Diego, but currently moving to a 3PL in Tijuana, Mexico. It's less than half the cost, and I'm told I can ship there from China and avoid tariffs by doing a bonded shipment. Any thoughts?
I've never heard of that hack. So you want to ship from China to Mexico and then, but I don't think you could do that for a long time, because tariffs are charged based on the country of origin, country of manufacturing, not the country you're shipping it out of. It's like you're buying a car you're buying a brand new car in California, or buying a brand new car in Delaware because it's a lower tax rate. The moment you bring that car into California, California wants its cut on taxes of that car. It's the same thing. So whether you ship it to Mexico and then reroute it, it's called a transshipment. You're transshipping from China to Mexico, from Mexico to the US. It's just a matter of time. I think they might still catch on to that. Well, shipments into the US would have to be broken into shipment less than 8 tons. Oh, you're talking about, well.
Yeah, I've heard Canadian companies doing that too.
Yeah.
Shipping orders that come in, and they ship it across the border on a regular daily basis or weekly or whenever.
Mhm. Yeah, I think tariffs are measured by where the products are made in. So if your products are still made in China and you're bringing it to the US, they might not have caught up to it yet, but I guarantee you eventually they might probably have to catch up to it eventually. Maybe not now.
Okay, and our last one, I think this might even be a good topic for a whole episode. But hey, Afolabi, most of these issues we deal with, but when communicating with suppliers, they don't listen. What are some of your topics you advise to work with Chinese suppliers to follow instructions?
Well, you can use images, and don't pay until they until they do what you ask them to do. Once you can delay your final payment until that is done. Say this is the way I want my items packed. Or you can put it into your performer and say I want my
That's
items.
what I was just going to say. Put it into your pro forma.
Yep.
Yeah, and during inspection, right? So they can check out the packaging as well.
Yep. And don't pay your balance until they conform to whatever you want. That money speaks. Money will make them listen. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, the quality of the cardboard, everything. You can be very specific with it, and get a credit back on your next order if there's problems.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, and last one. Any tip for small shipment LCL?
Especially LC. I think most of the tips we shared today apply mostly, I say 70% to LCL shipments because they are the most problematic shipments. It's when you hand off your goods that is less than a container to your forwarder, that's where things get messed up. They consolidate it into the same container as other people's products, and then they move it to a central warehouse where they do what we call warehouse in and out, and then they break it down, and that's where they mumble jumbled everything together. So for LCL shipments, if you could have your shipments palletized before it's taken from your warehouse facility, it will be nice. They wrap it, get it ready. But if not, when your 3PL receives your goods, they should give you a report right away to let you know the condition the condition your goods arrive to them. If they arrive broken, if they arrive torn, if they arrive busted, they should quickly let you know so you can get your refund or get some sort of compensation from your forwarder.
Just in case people don't know what LCL means, what is it?
Less than a container load. Yeah, so that's small shipments. Yeah.
All right. So I think that's it, right, Kels?
Yeah, we got them all.
We got a lot of questions today, and I'm sure we'll get a lot more. But anyways, we're going to make that slideshow available as well. For anybody who wants to check out the show notes, you'll see those resources. And I guess it's about that time.
Wheel of Kelsey.
Wheel of
Here
Kelsey.
we go.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right, Mr. Kelsey.
Okay, so I got all the names here. So this is for the $500 worth of credit at Honu worldwide.
That's got to be close to a record.
Yeah. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Okay, Stefan.
All right.
Stefan.
I think that's a first-time winner, too.
I think so, too, yeah.
So how does Stefan claim the prize?
Okay, so she can email me at k@lunchwithnorm.com, and I will connect Afolabi and Stefan together.
All right.
So there we go. Nice and easy. So that's it. Perfect.
Perfect. Well, Afolabi, we went a little long today. I think we got quite a few questions, lots of engagement. So thank you for being on. And I should remind people that you are going live on Wednesday, aren't you, on your Honu Facebook page?
Yes.
So if people are looking for more information, just check out Afolabi. What time is that?
Kelsey?
I believe it at 10 o'clock. Just let me double check.
10 o'clock Eastern.
10 a.m. Yep.
10 a.m. Eastern.
Okay, perfect. So you can always check out Afolabi's live on Facebook on Wednesday at 10 Eastern Standard Time. But Afolabi, how do people get a hold of you?
You can email us at savings@honuworldwide.com. Savings@honuworldwide.com. Maybe Kelsey can help us put it into the thing.
Yep. Yeah, I'll get right on that.
Because Afolabi doesn't touch social media or
I'm getting better.
yeah, you are. Okay, everybody. So thank you, Afolabi. We have on Wednesday a really cool podcast as well. Michelle Bridger is going to be on. She's the CEO of Inkwell. And we're going to be talking about the ins and outs of Instagram and Facebook ads for online sellers. So This is a topic not a lot of people are talking about for Amazon anyway. I think it's going to be really a great podcast.
Yeah, it's interesting. I put a poll in the Facebook group last week about where people want to learn about ads on social media, and the top answers were Facebook and Instagram. So if you participate in that poll, this is your chance. We're going to do this on Wednesday. So yeah, it should be good.
Right. Now, what's the other part of your job?
Right. My other part of the job, smash those like buttons. If you haven't yet, please just give it a little like. That would be great. Subscribe to the channel. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Also, we kind of did a little revamp on Norm's Instagram. So check it out at Norm Farrar, just new designs. Tell us what you think about it. And yeah, follow us on our Facebook group. We'd love to have you as part of the Beer Nation community. And we appreciate all the questions you have. If you want to know anything about the show, feel free to email me, k@lunchrwithnorm.com, or just ask a question in the group. We'd be happy to help you. But yeah.
Fantastic. So thank you for joining us today. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Eastern Standard Time at noon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of the community, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Lunch with Norm.